Hi everybody, it's Tom Woods. Yes, I have a beard, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. What I'm making this video for is to say a little something about some people called left libertarians. Now, I'm not speaking about all left libertarians. I have dear friends who call themselves left libertarians, and I cherish those friendships, and I don't mean to implicate those people. Those tend to be the more scholarly among them. I have no problem with those folks. But there are a few, I don't know, social media loudmouths who have nothing to do all day, so they post crazy things. And they're saying things about me that are so bizarre that I've just ignored them. But now I think I'll just have a little fun, because they're calling me lots of crazy names. Like, you know how the left calls everybody a Nazi these days? You could have exactly the opposite view from the Nazis on every issue under the sun, and they'll still call you a Nazi. So it's not surprising that left libertarians, whose allegiances are with the left, would be resorting to the same thing. They haven't, I guess, called me a Nazi, but they say that I like Nazis, or I don't know, I hang around with them, or some kind of crazy nonsense, whatever it is, or I'm pro-slavery. That's another one. Even though I believe in the non-aggression principle, I'm somehow pro-slavery. Well, a lot of you may know me from the Ron Paul days. I made a lot of videos defending Ron Paul. I spoke at Ron Paul's Rally for the Republic in 2008. In fact, that Rally for the Republic, that was my idea, that Dr. Paul should have a counter-convention the same week and more or less in the same city where they were going to nominate John McCain. I've opened for Dr. Paul on many, many occasions, worked very closely with him over the years. I testified before Congress on auditing the Fed at Dr. Paul's invitation. So I've been around a while. I've written 12 books, including 2 New York Times bestsellers. I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos on history from antiquity all the way up to the present, so through all the philosophers of classical antiquity all the way up through the present, for homeschoolers to help educate them, and indeed the general public. I've made many hundreds of videos and written articles on the non-aggression principle and all the glorious things we believe in our tradition. But I have to deal with these left libertarians. Now, as I say, I generally ignore them because why bother? But you know what? I thought it'd be fun. And plus, I've got a little twist at the end of this video that I think you'll enjoy. So 3 quick things. Number 1, during the financial crisis of 2008, I was writing a book, and I wrote a book called Meltdown. It was the first book that came out on the financial crisis that included discussion of the bailouts. This came out in early 2009, Meltdown. And it was on the New York Times bestseller list for 10 weeks. And the point of it is it exonerated the free market because, you know, everybody was saying, oh, the free market, that's what causes these housing bubbles, right, and financial crises. It's the free market. So somebody had to go to the trouble of writing a book really quickly and intensely to get it out there, to get our point of view out there. So I did that. So what were they doing at that time? As far as I know, nothing, which appears to be the pattern that has continued down to the present day. I'm out there doing all the work, and they're sniping on the sideline. Second thing, I don't know if it was 2012, I can't remember the exact year, but the Republican Party of Iowa extended to me an official invitation to go up there and deliver a series of lectures to just the general Republican base up there. So I did that, and I went up there and gave a lecture saying, you know what? All you folks in the audience here should knock off all the war propaganda, and you should all be anti-war. Well, you know what? That takes some stones. And it takes more stones than, let's say, to sit at a keyboard and snipe at Tom Woods from the sidelines. Then thirdly, well, these people, left libertarians, saying, we got to reach out to the left. There's too much outreach to the right. We got to reach out to the left. Okay, so I did that. I wrote this book called We Who Dared to Say No to War. I wrote that with a leftist, Murray Polner, and it was published by Basic Books, which, as you know, is an outstanding mainstream publisher. It got a coveted starred review from Publishers Weekly, and Ralph Nader bought 1,200 copies of it. So it turns out I'm even better than they are at the very thing they're supposed to be doing. So, all right, so where's all this going? Well, lately, I think they're mentally deranged. I don't know what else to conclude from this, to say these things about me when everything I've said, not just one sentence taken out of context or some speech from 20 years ago, everything is all there online. You can go to tomspodcast.com. You can see my entire 1,200 plus episodes. Now, it's true, in the 1990s, I went through a paleoconservative phase. And by the way, the paleocons are okay to me because they're all anti-war, and that's more than I can say for some libertarians and for a lot of people on the left. But It's true. So, for example, when I wrote this book, it took a long time for this book to come out. I was working on it way before it finally came out. But I wrote the introduction and I edited the political writings of Rufus Choate. Now, probably never heard of Rufus Choate. But the point is, in the introduction of that book, it's true. You can find there is an anti-free trade bias. That is true. I wrote an anti-capitalist article at the end of the 1990s in a peer-reviewed journal called American Studies. I confess, in the 1990s, I did not believe in natural rights. I didn't believe in the natural rights tradition, like a lot of utilitarians don't believe in utilitarians don't believe in the natural rights tradition. So that's all true. That is absolutely true. But since being a libertarian, that's all changed. Obviously, I'm pro-free trade. In terms of all these other things like natural rights, well, I mean, I've spoken on natural rights, the whole history of natural rights, and where the ideas of natural rights derive from in the Middle Ages and carrying them out through the present. That's what I teach in my home school courses that are available for purchase. So that's all. It is extremely disingenuous to go back to when I was some grad student and say, hey, look what he said. That's just dumb, right? Look at all the content I have. So what I'm going to do is, over the next 5 days, this is August 21st, 2018, over the next 5 days, if you see any unhinged, crazy left libertarian posting any crazy accusation about me, then send a screenshot to tomwoodsscreenshot@yahoo.com, and for every distinct screenshot I receive, I will donate $1,000 to the Mises Institute, up to $10,000, and I intend to do this on a regular basis. So have at it. I hope it's worth it to you guys, because every time you do it, the Mises Institute just gets richer. So that's what we're going to do. So make sure you send those screenshots to tomwoodsscreenshot@yahoo.com so that we can raise $10,000 for the Mises Institute. And by the way, if you're one of the non-deranged libertarians out there, the vast majority of libertarians who are just normal and who are actually disturbed at this trend of calling everybody a Nazi, then you're going to love my podcast, because I cover all kinds of topics, every topic under the sun, and it will make you a smarter libertarian in just 30 minutes a day. I am taking everything I learned at Harvard and at Columbia, and I am turning it against those institutions to help you become a smarter libertarian. So check that out at tomspodcast.com. tomspodcast.com is what all the normal libertarians listen to every single day. The Tom Woods Show over at tomspodcast.com. Thanks for listening.